I heard people say that when you want your wife to be angry with you, don't eat her food. So when I came back, lunch was ready. I refused to eat lunch. Dinner came, I refused to eat it because I believed that I was punishing her. But I was the one that was getting angry. I want to tell you, hunger wired me. Hunger wired me. But by 2:30 a.m. of the following day, the hunger was unbearable. So I shoved her with my legs, and then she shoved me back, and then we started laughing and laughing and laughing. If we are to look at the causes of conflict, then we need to look again at what King Solomon said in verse 1. He said, unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the guards stand watch in vain. So, in the first place, God is the builder of the home. Marriage is a lifetime, experience. You continue to marry and marry. For instance, my wife and I, you imagine we began, children started coming, we started making adjustments first to accommodate each other. From single life to married life, there was need for adjustment. Then along the line, children started coming, so we made further adjustment to accommodate the children.
Many get married, but they are not ready to adjust. As a young man, you used to go out and come back at will, anytime you want. As a young woman, you cooked whenever you wanted. But now that you are married, if you refuse to adjust to the fact that you are married and begin to walk in unison with your spouse, your husband or your wife, if you go out and come back anytime, you may come and find your wife has gone. Even myself, yours faithfully, sitting here, when we married, we just came back from honeymoon. My friend came from Kaduna. She lived in Kaduna, so she came to visit her sister. And it's not too far from where we were living. And I went to visit her.
I was the one, I escorted her there.
So,
and we chatted and chatted and chatted. Yes, go ahead.
But we looked at each other with my friend and decided that we had a lot of gist to catch up with. So I told him that he should go home. I will spend the night with my friend.
I thought you was joking. They even escorted me. Then they stopped halfway and said, oh, good night. That was when I knew that she was serious. Well, I didn't want to argue with my bride of just few weeks.
So we gisted through the night and finally slept. And when I woke up at 5 a.m. to have my personal devotion before going back to the house, then the Holy Spirit convicted me that I was now married. I will not just go anywhere and spend the night. And even though I wasn't spending the night with a man, but we didn't arrange that I was coming to spend the night with my husband. So I was on my own. So I couldn't finish the devotion. I was waiting for 6 a.m. Then I told my friend that I'm convicted. And she said she too, during her devotion, she was feeling that it was bad that she agreed for me to spend the night. I was 23 years old. So by 6 a.m., she escorted me and I went. I went to the house to knock the door. I was afraid. What would he think? But I gathered courage and knocked the door. He came and I said, I was very sorry. Now he said something. When Christ is not ruling our lives, we can offend and without feeling anything, because that's a normal way for an unbeliever. But the Holy Spirit was the one that convicted me. So I apologized and he forgave me. So that's, all beginning conflicts, adjusting to marriage. From that day, I had never gone to spend the night anywhere without prior arrangement with my husband.
Now, let me also take you through the various methods we pass through in conflict resolution. When we moved to Kaduna, because I was still studying, I went for my HND, so we had to move as a family. And of course, she too had to secure admission. to do personnel management. So on this very day, we went to National Library around the Central Bank to read. And we finished from the library. Of course, people knew us. We were like 5 and 6, always together, wearing the same clothes. She was carrying our first pregnancy at that particular time. So from the library, National Library, we came towards the post office, to catch a bus going to Angwarimi, where we used to live. Now, just at the junction, I saw across some fresh bananas. And I wanted to get bananas for my wife. I wanted to know how many men bring banana at home anyway.
That was my favorite, actually. With that pregnancy, I liked banana.
She liked banana and masa. Those were the two things. So I crossed over to buy banana. I bought the banana, but just as I was leaving, a friend of ours, came in at that particular time, greeted me, and we just said a little bit. And I said, we are together with my wife. I really pointed across. I said, she's there. He said, he will buy banana for his sister. For his sister. So we moved down a little bit to buy more bananas for her. Wow, not for me. By the time we bought the banana, I looked everywhere. My wife was nowhere to be found. I asked the traffic man, I said, was there any accident here? He said no. So I went back to the National Library. I ransacked up and down. She was nowhere to be found. I came back, and when I couldn't see her, I entered bus. In my mind, I was just wondering what could have happened. And just as we arrived at the gate of the College of Administrative and Business Studies, here she was coming out, of the school. Now you may put in there what happened, ma'am.
But what happened was that when they went with the brother, they were just in. They took long, and for me, he had abandoned me by the road, and at that very tender stage of first trimester of pregnancy, I was easily irritated. So I felt he abandoned me by the roadside. He didn't care what was happening to me. So I walked. I left the place. I went to that College of Administrative and Business Studies because we had
She trekked from that place to that place.
We had a friend of ours, a lady in the library, who always liked us, admired us, because even within the school, we were holding our hands and talking and so on. So I was going to her to ask her for transport because I didn't have any money to enter bus. So as I was walking to go towards the library, the Holy Spirit asked me, where are you going to? I said, I'm going to this madam. To do what? To ask for transport money. Are you saying that your husband is irresponsible? Then I said, no. Then I turned. That was why, as I was approaching the gate again, his boss just arrived there. Because I listened to the Holy Spirit, I went back. I wasn't going to portray my husband as an irresponsible man. And so God ordered it that they just were passing the gate when I was arriving at the gate. So he saw me and stopped the bus. Of course, the bus was full. And he was angry, but no talking. We were among people.
Yes.
So he left his seat for me. I sat.
Now, take note of something. This is the second time she's talking about the leading of the Holy Spirit. First when we went to our friend's place, then she spent the night, okay, but she was convicted that what she did was wrong. And that was the basis for her apologizing. Now, again, this time around, she was convicted by the Holy Spirit that to go and ask somebody for transport money was to portray me in bad light as irresponsible husband. So she came back. So take note that in conflict resolution in the home of a Christian, the leading of the Holy Spirit is key. Now, when she entered the bus, we got to where we dropped. No talking, of course. Once there is conflict, no more communication. But it was when we entered our own house, our own room. Then she started crying. She started crying that I abandon her. When I heard that one, I was boiling. Then when I heard that I was the one that was at fault, Then God just ministered to me. So what did I do? Then I held her and I started tapping her. You know, as the head of the family, as leader, even though I was 27 at that time, but of course I was a senior and I handled the matter better. So I started petting her. You know, in my heart I say, hey, so I am the problem. I thought you were the one that has offended me. I went to buy banana for her. Then she abandoned me and left. Look at the trouble, the tension that I passed through. Anyway, we resolved it ourselves. Because where we were living, actually it was given to us by one of the lecturers at Kaduna Polytechnic. She was their chief bridesmaid. So we're staying together. You continue and tell them what happened.
So the next morning, after, we settled our case, I went to them because they had never seen us unhappy with each other. And now they could hear me crying because they shared one. They were in a 2-bedroom flat. They gave us one. They were using one. We were cooking together for 1 year. And so I went to knock at their door because my devotion, I prayed. And, when you have settled with God, you need to settle with men. So I went to their door and knocked, and they opened. And I said, I came to apologize. My husband didn't beat me. My husband didn't abuse me. But that this is what happened. And they must have heard my crying. And I wanted to apologize to them. They must have been wondering what happened. So I am sorry that it will not happen again. I have taken a decision that pregnancy will not control my behavior. That the Holy Spirit is still present with me, even though I am pregnant. So that was how I ratified that one. But after that, we started learning because nobody taught us.
No premarital
counseling.
None.
But we had made up our minds that our marriage must work. And we will not live apart. That was why I left work for 2 years to join him in school while he was doing his HND. So we looked for admission for a course for me to do so that we would live together. And we started looking for ways of resolving our conflicts.